Hello everybody, it is perishing cold and as you can see it has literally just started snowing here. So I thought there was never a better time to start a journey to Southeast Asia, and that's what we're going to be doing today. We're looking at a brand new library called Sangara from Orchestral Tools. It is cinematic Southeast Asian instruments. Now this has been a bit of a journey for me and I hope it will be for you. So what I'm going to be doing today, in a moment we'll be hearing from composer Richard Harvey, who created this incredible library. Then we're going to be diving into some of the extra bits and pieces which I felt I needed to know in order to use this library, because this library is like incredible sort of world food ingredients. But of course then you need all the scales and you need to have some knowledge of the way the instrument's used in order to be able to play them properly. So the scales are sort of like all the spice racks, so you can choose all these bits and pieces, all the recipe. Dodgy analogy. Anyway, so we'll be talking a little bit about scratching the surface indeed of the kind of scales which are used in Southeast Asian music. And then finally, I'm going to be trying to write a little bit of music using the library. So we're going to be hearing from Richard, looking at the library, looking at the scales, and then doing a bit of score. And there's underneath this that you'll see lots of chapter markers. So if you go, not interested in that, but I am interested in that, I won't be offended if you hop about. And if this is your kind of thing, do remember to subscribe to the channel because it's a good thing. And if you like learning about music, music theory, music composition, any of that stuff, check out thinkspaceeducation.com. Where we do loads of courses, everything from a little short course you can do in a weekend right up to a full master's degree. There you go. Right, so before we jump into the library itself, let's hear from the man who created it, a really inspirational composer who's done lots and lots of concert music, session work, he's done tons of film and television stuff, and he's been around for quite a while, so he knows a thing or two. And here he told me a little bit about how he came to create this amazing library.
You know, I've been traveling to Southeast Asia since the mid-90s and, you know, to India since the mid-80s. And I've been collecting musical instruments ever since. So, you know, the bulk of what's featured in this collection is owned by me. And, you know, I've learned to play a lot of them, but I've also met a number of musicians. And it's in countries like Thailand, where I also live, and Indonesia and Malaysia and so on. And I've worked with these guys. I've worked with them on film scores. I've taken part in their concerts. They've taken part in my concerts. I'm no way, I believe, I'm in no way viewed as an outsider or an intruder. I'm part of their gang. They're part of my gang. And I wouldn't have taken this on. And I made this very clear to the boys at Orchestral Tools at the start. I'm not taking this on without doing at least some of the recording out in Asia and using local musicians who are specialists. We're not in a box ticking enterprise here. We're actually, if there's an instrument that I can't put my hand up and say, I really play this one okay, all right? I need to get a specialist in, because this is not only got to stand scrutiny from the little cabal of people in Santa Monica and West London. It's actually got to be used by musicians in Thailand, Indonesia, Philippines, wherever. And they've got to like it too. I wish everyone could just broaden their palette, because it's all sounds. Let's not, you know, our dear friend music, it doesn't read maps. It's not looking down from space and seeing where the Brits and the Dutch drew a line in the sand between Malaysia and Indonesia. They're just saying, we're all humans, we're all playing music, we've all got our own instruments. And any sound that comes in which isn't covered by a standard orchestra or, you know, our other standard issue things over here, early music instruments, Baroque orchestra or whatever, it's fair game. We've got to being really inclusive about all this.
So now let's see what Richard's creation actually looks and sounds like in the flesh. There is some very, very good walkthrough videos which Richard's done where he talks you through each of the instruments in turn. So the library is organised by winds, percussion and stringed instruments, and the winds are flutes, reeds, other wind instruments, and then the percussions, drums, percussion, which is sort of wooden things, metal things, xylophones, and then string. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on, and the one thing I did find is that in typical orchestral tools way, it is immaculately technically done. Each of these instruments is really, really well done. So, for example, the Thai Kluwi in C, and forgive me for not knowing how. If you want a Thai Kluwi in C, that is the definitive version thereof. So what we've got going here is really well done instruments. You see, what you'll see here, okay, let's have a little gander. Let's try and line this up so you can see it better. So under the flutes, you've got two different Thai flutes, a Sumatran flute, two different Balinese flutes, a Javanese flute, two more Thai instruments at the end. Each of these have a very distinctive sound. Now, of course, when you play the sample, you're not getting the whole context and the whole history and everything else. You're just getting the sound, and it's a lovely sound. But if you want it to kind of be, in the context of where it comes from, which is obviously not here in snowy southern England right now, then you're going to have to do a bit of work. I had this library a few weeks ago, and it took me a little while to get my head around how best to use it, because they're lovely sounds, but how do I get them? It's, as I say, it's like having wonderful ingredients, but what's the recipe? So what I did, I bought this. It's called Musical Scales of the World by Dr. Michael Hewitt, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of them. I mean, it's like a sort of endless sample library for people who are just interested in scales and things. I mean, every one of these scales comes with a new set of sort of emotional connotations. It comes with a whole load of sort of a different feeling and everything else. So, for example, let's look at the Balinese scales they've got in here. They've got, can I play a Balinese scale on a Thai Kluwi? Who knows? We're about to find out. Okay, so if I go for this Slendro scale, it goes, and like an awful lot of Balinese scales, it's a pentatonic scale. So it's very similar to the normal pentatonic major, but it puts in the flat 7 in there instead. Or we could go for the Pelog, which is another very common Balinese scale. It's got more of a kind of angular kind of minor sort of feel to it, hasn't it? One of the interesting things I bumped into was that Thai music a lot of Thai music is written for a heptatonic scale, 7-note scale. Oh, do you mean just like ours? No. You see, when you look at an ordinary Western scale, it might have, an octave is 8, so you've got 7 divisions. So, but it goes tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. The Thai scale takes those 7 notes and sticks them equidistant, so it divides the whole octave into 7. What that means is that it completely doesn't line up with the keyboard, because the Western keyboard is divided into 12 and the Thai octave is divided into 7. Temperament becomes a big deal when dealing with Asian or lots of non-Western instruments. I mean, in other words, we look at a keyboard and say, oh, okay, well, it's just going to map onto these semitones. No. So you might go, or whatever, but you might well find actually in the real scale that second note is actually quite sharp compared to what's there, and that one might be quite flat, etc., etc. So there's no such thing as just a definitive 12 semitone chromatic octave, each musical scale from different parts of the world uses different temperament, different tuning. So what we're doing here is approximating the Balinese Pelog or Slendro scale on a keyboard. Look, knock me out. I'm not going for absolute, total, complete knockout realism. I'm going for something which is going to sound nice and, you know, with a reasonable degree of authenticity. It's getting quite dark in here because of the snow outside. Time for some additional lighting. Ah, hello summer. That's better. Wow. Yeah, man. Okay. So, we have a pentatonic scale. Which one are we going to use? We're going to use the kind of, whatever it was called, the Slendro scale, which is more like... that one. I think that's what we're going to do. Now, when you're working with a pentatonic scale, if you are actually using the original instruments in the country, all the harmony would come from those pentatonic notes as well. But when we do it, we have the choice of using normal, well, what might be seen as chromatic harmonies. I did a theme tune for a kung fu show many, and it etc., etc. Perfectly nice tune. But what you actually ended up doing, in terms of harmonising it, was using notes which are completely outside that particular pentatonic scale. So we got a pentatonic scale, which is what we're going to use. I'm going to take you for a very... There's a lot in this library, and we could be here until Christmas. Oh, not till Christmas. But we could take quite a long time to go through each of these instruments in time. As I say, I would recommend Richard Harvey's walkthrough, because not only is he playing through the instruments, but he's telling you about the instrument itself. Because he knows, because either he plays them, which is the vast majority, or his mates play them. And so, listen and learn. Right, so if I just get one of these up and I'll show you how it works. Right, here we go. So the only way to do this is just to open them up and to see what you think. So for example, if we go to my telephones and we look for the Javanese gender, or the Pelog. Now, that's as far as most sort of gamelan type libraries would go, but because this goes the extra mile, you get a choice of damped long hard, damped short hard, single hit soft, damped long soft. This is where this really, really, really scores. It's not only well done, but you've got a lot of choice. So you're not just, oh, I'll load up a gamelan psalm and see what happens, and it's not quite right. You can mess with it and make it just what you want, which is super cool. And right. So we talked a little bit about the various scales and things like that. We've decided we're using the Pelog scale. Now, you will often, if you work in a cinematic or a games or TV, you may well, end up writing a piece of music which is to accompany something which is shot in Indonesia or whatever. If you're doing let's say we're doing an Indonesian wildlife film. Now, I would try as often as possible, because I've done this quite a lot, if at all possible, to use real players in the country. I did a wildlife film about Madagascar, and I got on a plane with a recording, with my little recorder, something a little bit like this Zoom F6, but rather a long time ago, and went to Madagascar and recorded a whole load of musicians and a choir, brought it back, chopped it up, and used it in the score. And it was, authentic, respectful. All the musicians were properly paid. So it kind of brought not just the wildlife, but also the musical culture into the film as well. And I've done similar things elsewhere with Tutankhamun, which was all about an Egyptian mummy. One of my students who lived in Cairo was a musician, so he got a whole load of session players in, and they basically played the Tutankhamun theme on all these original instruments recorded in the studio in Cairo. It was just a knockout. And then I got all this tons of material back, chopped it up into little phrases and dropped it in throughout the show. And again, it's completely authentic. And okay, assuming you don't have time or money to jump on a plane and go to Bali for this sequence in this travel documentary which you're scoring, let's see how it would go. Has it gone from, it's gone from wildlife film to a travel documentary? Did you see that happen? Right, now this is where we get into the scoring bit. Okay, I'm going to start by putting down a drone, basically. What I'm using here is pigments from Arturia, and because I'm on currently I'm using this Arturia keyboard, I can, look, it's all mapped, it's all pre-mapped, so I can move the fader there and it all changes things. Do you know what? I'm going to turn the speakers down and put my headphones on, because I think that's going to give you a better experience. There you go. Welcome, Princess Leia. Here we go. Okay. Right, let's just stick some of that down. And I think that's too quick, so I'm going to take the tempo down to, well, that's better. No, I don't want the high stuff, because I'm already thinking about how the arrangement's going to go. And I know I've got some high flutes, so I don't want to put the pad up where the high flutes are happening. I'm going to start where I think I was in the right place. I've just got to be more patient. I'm not known for being patient. This is a very, very nice sound, and it's one of Pigment's. It's a granular. It's using samples and granular synthesis. So this is an ocarina porcelain. So it's sort of an organic sound to start with. I rather like that. I think that's good. I'm gonna just for safety more than anything else, I'm gonna bounce it to audio. Now I'm gonna have to come up with a little tune. So we're gonna start. On the, what is it? The Tai Clui in C. Okay, let's turn that down a bit. Now, many pop songs and folk tunes and everything else use a pentatonic scale. It just lends itself to tune writing. Why did I say that? And I've now got to come up with something which is vaguely credible. Okay. Just play, guys, see what happens. Do it again. No, that just didn't sound right, did it? It just sounded a bit off. Am I looking for more mystic? Yeah, a little bit more. Let me just bring this reverb up. I think I want something a little bit more spacious. I mean, we're going for long here, so we're going 4.5 seconds of reverb, which is, you know, so it's like echoing through the forest type thing. Something like that. I have got other options, articulation-wise, trills. But I'm going to stick with the sustains, the legato. Come on then, let's go for it. I don't really need... Funny, I always get the first bit right and then it just goes to pot. That's all right. You got the first bit right, guy. Don't be downhearted. Let's now just go and play something else. Okay, I've got plenty more to be going on with, so let's I don't want to bring it all in at once, because that is a classic mistake I've referred to many times. I've got to... You still got to leave the same amount, whether you're writing for instruments you've never heard of before, or for traditional orchestral instruments, or for electronic or anything else, you've got to leave room. Okay, now we're going to blend in some Western strings, Berlin strings. Okay, so we've introduced our little idea. That's a perfectly nice intro. Now we are, just so that we can mix it up a bit, we're going to introduce something a little bit more rhythmic. Ooh, that's nice. slightly weird little rhythm. I don't care. Oh, I love these ones. These are great. You know that kind of slightly South Pacific sort of the log drum thing? What you've got with this sample is you've got 3 of them. So it's 3 played at once, so you can go. Ooh! I like it, as you can tell. Are we going to bring it in straight away, or is that going to ask for trouble? Hang on. What's gone wrong here is I'm completely ignoring the tempo of the piece because I haven't changed. It needs to change up. It needs now to get quicker. So I need to insert a tempo track because I haven't got one of those, so I can't change the tempo with any degree of ease. Tempo, I'll have one of those. Thank you. How are you, tempo track? Well, I'm all right. I wondered why you left me out. Well, you know, it's all right. No big deal. You're here now. Thanks very much. Yeah, great. Okay. Let's lock it onto the grid and change on the bar, I think. Let's go down to there. And what are we going to go for? I can stick it on anything. 115, is that going to be too far? No, that's all right. That feels about right. Right, so let's go back to my drum. That might have been a bit relentless, but nonetheless, let's see how that goes. Add the I like that. The only thing I didn't like was, look at that velocity. The velocities of these earlier ones are way too high. There you go. Let's even them up because the later ones sounded about right. Yeah, sticking to my pentatonic scale, let's add some gender in. Anybody who knows anything at all about gamelan music is probably going, "What are you doing, Guy?" So I don't expect that's how it's supposed to go. But for the sake of argument, that's how it's going to go. Do you see how when you just noodle about, sometimes little ideas start coming together? Or not in this particular case. I'm half thinking of going, where are we harmonically? may go into something slightly more assertive here. I'm just going to work out what harmonically I can get away with here. So obviously I can. Okay, let's just see what happens. No, I can't do that. Okay, so what does work is sort of open C with a ninth on the top, down to an F with a sixth resolving up to the 10th, then down to a D minor, and then back to the C. So we're going to C, F, D minor. Let's see what happens. Famous last words. The gender's got to go for the moment. Okay, how about C, F, D minor? Okay, I think something around here is going to work. Let's take that out and start again, but it's definitely getting there. Okay, it's sort of getting there. I mean, I need some. I need a cello or something in there, really. I was only just playing a top line there, so let's get the cello in. Once I've got this bed going, then I can add some more. Go back to the ethnic stuff. Ethnic's not ethnic, just non-traditional. Ethnic's such a terribly patronising word. I apologise. Okay, nearly. C, dropping down to F, down to D, D, A, D, down to F again, down to the D, okay, if we say we're happy with that, let's pretend we're happy with that for now. Now we're going to go back into the Javanese gender and see what we can do with this. okay. How do I feel about that? Lukewarm, to be absolutely honest. But tune bowls we have. Is this where my tune's coming from? Whether that's the right instrument or not, it's the tune might be there. Let's just. Here we go, let's try again. Do you know, my scales slipped. I've gone to a major pentatonic. Oh well. Hang on, no. You can't have the flat 7 if you're going for the... Okay, and that last note is going to be a trill. And I need to put in an E0 there. There we go, to give that last note a trill. So I open this up, I look for where that is, I get my pencil out, and then I go down to E0, which is going to be there. And now let's see if that's worked. There you go, told you. But I need to now to put in the C0 at the beginning so that it starts off in normal legato mode. Let's see if that's worked. It has indeed. Now I'm not feeling I need quite as much. I might try, how's that going to work if I use the string, if I get rid of the strings for now and just try the pigments? I don't unlove that at all. Okay, shall we have a little listen from the beginning? Here we go. Much as I like that, we do need to make sure that we've got... Once you start using key switches, you can't not use them because otherwise it all goes bonkers like that. So there we go, C0. Let's see if that works now. Yeah, I like a trill, but not all the way through. Look, obviously I missed an important bit out there, didn't I? Tell you what I could do. What am I not using? Now, play that note in, render it in place, turn it up a bit, Command R, which is my patent custom key command for reverse. Let's reverse it into that first note, so we got a little kind of build up, and it goes. Better? Better. Now, I need a... Another one of these little reversey things. Let's get it to, there we go. So it's exactly 2 bars long, so I can just drop it in somewhere else. Like, that didn't work. I should be careful about saying things like that. There we go, there we go. Oh, no, it's totally not working. Oh, I see why it didn't work, because the tempo changes there. That's of course why. Okay, now we're going to listen to the whole thing and imagine. Now, what we're going to be doing, we're going to imagine that we're on a some kind of riverboat going down, a river in Thailand, and looking out at this amazing, gorgeous stuff. Not looking out over a rather grey afternoon with a bit of snow in the sky, and we're going to try and picture ourselves somewhere nice and warm. Okay, here we go. You can live without the. I know you hate the click, so I'll get rid of it. How ridiculous do I look? Look, that's all for today. So my thanks to Orchestral Tools for giving me Sangara. Thank you, Richard Harvey, for your time. As ever, when I do these little reviews and things, nobody ever pays me to do them. I just do them because I like the stuff, and that's it. So if this has been entertaining and informative, you could consider subscribing, because then when I come back and do another one, which I'm going to do next week, on a secret topic you don't know anything about yet, you'll be informed. Okay. So, wonderful library, really, really inspiring to play with. I'll put links to things like the famous Musical Scales of the World by Michael Hewitt in the description underneath, because I think they pair up quite well, and then you can enjoy yourself. So, yeah, that's it from me today. But there is still this.
Hello everybody, and welcome to Sampled Orchestration.
Sampled orchestration is all about creating a realistic, engaging, lyrical, uplifting, emotional, musical experience. A piece of music that could be performed by an orchestra, but is actually coming out of sample programs on your computer.
This course, we hope, will help you upgrade your sample orchestration skills so that your mock-ups will sound not just more real, but more emotive, that you'll have more control, you'll feel more satisfied with the music you produce, and that you're able to get the most out of the libraries you own.
It didn't sound remotely real, and this is one of the best string libraries in the world. And now we'll go through and start working out how we can make this better.
There's a lot of problems which you may well be familiar with, things like the machine gun effect, the pipe organ effect, lack of clarity in the inner voices, all kinds of things which samples just they suck at, to be honest. So we're going to be looking at these complicated problems to solve and helping you solve them.
The quality of the legato sample really does, for a lot of people, define the quality of the library. You can hear it flowing much better when we use a legato sample, which is designed to sound like it's moving from one note to another. I would recommend putting a marker track in, putting each marker in with your chord so you can see where things changed.
Obviously, this course also comes with a community, so you can make friends with each other and you can share your music. The community exists on Discord. There's lots of opportunities to upload your -1s or any other bits of music you want, to get feedback both from your fellow students and members of the teaching staff. I drop in there and give some feedback from time to time.
How do you change articulations? One is using key switches. The other is articulation IDs or expression maps. Third method is using separate tracks for separate articulations. There. That is significantly better than it was before, and that's just using 2 articulations.
And if you haven't checked it out yet, what are you doing? Go and check it out.